Hi, can I ask what the YouTube video title was called?
Absolutely, yes. Actually, the first one that you saw, it's importance of make-believe play. And
Thank
the
you.
second one is bakery shop. You can just you can type dramatic play bakery shop. Oh, second one we're going to show you. The first one that we showed you already, that basically importance of make-believe play. Do we have everyone?
Yeah, we're at 50. We have all our participants.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. So let me close that.
So now we're all going to share as a group. I was able to be part of some breakout rooms, and I was just hearing their experiences of working with young children and the benefits of play and the teacher's role as well. Does anybody like to share? Or any type of experiences encounter? Anybody?
Yeah, I would like to share.
Yes, please do so.
I was just saying that how dramatic play brings all the talents and skills in any child, because I used to do it when I was young. I was to pretend that I'm a mother and playing with dolls and taking care of them, and I grew up to be a mother. That it just gives you the idea of how it is to be that role and to pretend whatever you want to be in real life.
Exactly. Well said. And that's how the main importance core, right, of dramatic play. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Teresa? Teresa, you wanna share?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Sophia was in my little chat group there, so we had a lot of things in common.
Yes.
Yeah, but one of the things I thought was really, to me, I feel it's important. I think the kids developed a sense of more self or assertiveness or confidence when they do the dramatic play. I think they're less, not so that they're not going to be shy, but less, again, more assertive and more confident is what I think that creates that child.
Yes, well said, Teresa. And the benefits were, which there are numerous benefits of children engaging in dramatic play. We have some highlighted here: the self-regulation, language development, conflict resolution, support math and literacy, right? Social emotional attention, empower children, explore drama, and more, right? When children are engaging in play, that cognitive skills, right? What are they learning? Those critical thinking, problem solving, memorizing. Children, when they're engaging in the environment where they're able to, just like the image in front of us, a child coming with that, pretend dollar, right? Coming to the register, right? The importance of building relationship with one another, right? The language concept of it, right? Learning new vocabulary when they're engaging in dramatic play, communicating with others and building relationships. The physical aspect of it, right? The fine motor skills, again, when we have items in front of us that they're going to be developing their fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Importance of eye-hand coordination and balancing, right? If they're holding a basket, being able to transfer it to another location. Right? Social emotional, getting along with one another, engaging in play itself, the important, right? The social relationships. And again, I know we highlighted and they shared the self-esteem, being able to be themselves and be able to feel comfortable, and the play automatically comes natural. Understanding the expressions of emotions if a child wants to engage. They read their words or facial expression, right? When they invite them to play with a smile, okay, here they come, or here comes the chef, or here comes, the customer, right? They're able to engage in numerous. So the benefits are our overall more and so much more. The importance, the more engagement, the more interaction, the more we facilitate the play, and the more the child will gain knowledge and be successful. So, do you want to unmute yourself?
Thank you so much. I know it's difficult to back and forth. Sorry about that. So thank you so much, Nancy, for discussing the benefits of dramatic play. I would like to kind of emphasizing on teacher's role or adult's role. It's not only teacher, any adult, especially parents or caregivers, and also teachers as well. So one thing I wanted to add with the benefits, I feel like I see personally that dramatic play basically plant seeds of our dream. So that's how I see. For example, like myself, I used to engage in pretend play, become a teacher. So that was the best role that I ever took when I was young, right? And now here I am. I'm teaching. I used to teach young children. Now I'm teaching adults. So basically, it's kind of planting a seeds, and also through dramatic play, children have freedom to be whoever they want to be. There's no boundary, there's no limitation. So they're free to become anything, doctor or pilot or anything they can be, right? So it's a free avenue of adventure. So let's focus on some of the roles of teachers in facilitating dramatic play. As we heard from the video, that nowadays is basically children have so much of commercial items. So creativity actually becoming a little bit less than before children used to be, right? So think about our own childhood. We have to create every single thing. Even we have to create a doll using maybe a piece of fabrics, or maybe we have to create a house with a box, right? So now you can buy everything in the market. So that kind of limiting our kids' creativity or opportunity to become more creative. But anyway, as an adult, we have to take some of the responsibility. So what can we do? First of all, number one, we have to give them the environment. So if I am a preschool teacher or I'm a parent or caregiver, make sure that we actually give them that environment so they can pretend. Especially, I will say here, we can actually think about structured and unstructured time, right? So you can come up with a structured situation, and we'll share more ideas actually. That's why we wanted to ask you how dramatic is your classroom. So we'll give you some of the ideas. So provide environment and also give them some props and time. Unstructured time is so critical. I feel like as a parent, like we put our children with so many routine and so many structured directions that they actually don't have that freedom to become more creative using unstructured time. So make sure that we give them those unstructured time. Participate in play, but do not interrupt. So one thing I wanted to make sure that as an adult, when we're observing children engage in dramatic play, we should not interrupt their play. We should take the leads, and we should even be part of their game, be part of their dramatic play, taking a role, what role they want us to take, but do not interrupt or do not redirect them to play something else. That's not our, we should not do it, right? So make sure that we participate, make sure that we promote child-initiated activity. That means we follow their leads, and also serve as a facilitator. We facilitate for them and they will take a lead. We provide the environment, we set up the stage, we give them the opportunity and material, so they will take the lead. And also, provide opportunity to all children to participate. One of the things that I used, I was an instruction coach and supervisor. So I saw that always same group of children used to occupied in the dramatic play area, right? And sometimes you will see, girls are more into that dramatic play area. But as an educator, we should provide opportunity for all children. So make sure that the children with special needs, make sure that boys and girls participate in dramatic play. So we encourage them. We can actually help them to take turns. That way, everybody will be able to participate in that dramatic play corner. And also assist children in learning acceptable kind of social interaction. So here's the one thing I wanted to make sure that we understand. Since children imitate behavior from adults, Sometimes it could be something inappropriate, a dramatic play scenario. It could be something, they might imitate domestic violence. They might imitate some of the behavior that not appropriate for young children. So as an adult, make sure that we observe and we help them to take proper behavior or use proper word or proper manner when they engage in dramatic play. So this is really, really important. Also, we can introduce some of the props in a small group, okay? And one important thing, make sure that we remember, make sure that we avoid props that are biased. So we make sure that our props, our materials, anti-bias, okay? So make sure that the word we're using, the costume that we have, the dolls or other materials, food, play kitchen, and anything that we have, make sure that those are anti-bias and those are also culturally sensitive. So make sure that that represents different cultures. So that's a really, really important one. For example, when we say, instead of saying fireman, we will be using non-biased word, the firefighter. So make sure that we kind of, be more intentional using those words. I saw that Alana raised your hands. Let me finish the role and then you can share. And also help them to problem solve, because dispute can happen since they're taking different roles, they're engaging in interactions, so they might, more possibility that they will encounter disputes. So make sure that as an adult, we actually help them to solve their problems. We are not solving for them, but we are helping them, scaffold them so they can actually come up with their own solution. And also we can actually create a story plot or maybe thematic box, social stories. That way they can also engage in, a different kind of scenario, different kind of social setting, and also learn different social manner. So Alana, I can add a little bit more, but I actually wanted to, I think Alana raised her hands. Alana, you'd like to share, or do you have a question?
Yeah, I actually did have a question. I wanted to
Sure.
know what's one way that say if they are displaying behavior that isn't appropriate, what's one way that we can redirect the behavior while also like not discouraging the play itself, but the behavior that they're displaying?
Right. You actually brought up a good question, because in children, since they're imitating, it might be their action could be inappropriate, their wording can be appropriate, or their interaction could be inappropriate. So as a facilitator and also observers, we are actually observer, facilitator, and also mediator, right? Mediator and mentor. So we need to actually help them to engage in appropriate play. So what we can do, we can actually talk to them individually. If we see that incidence is not appropriate, we can actually help them to, in some situation we do need to interrupt, right? If something is maybe dangerous, or something is not really appropriate for the age group. So make sure that we do actually engage with them and explain individually to those children. And later on, the later time, we should, what I actually suggest, to create a social stories during your group time, or maybe during your discussion time, circle time. And through the social stories, you can actually let them understand what types of behavior we expect from them, or how we can interact with other children, or what is not okay to use or to apply to other children. So using kind of story, social story, or using puppets, or even teacher can role play. Teacher can role play. Let's say, let me give an example. Let's say domestic violence. You can see that a child may be hitting a baby, all right, or maybe hitting other kids, and saying something that actually imitating some sort of domestic violence that they observe at home. So we can actually show them, teacher can imitate them and ask them, having a discussion, do you think this is okay if I do this kind of behavior? They will understand when they actually visualize it. And that's basically a golden opportunity to explain what is not acceptable and how we can actually interact with other people in a respectful manner. Okay. So if we can actually explain it to them, if we can be a role model for them, absolutely, kids they're like sponges. They can actually absorb those suggestions really quickly. So hopefully that will actually help, solve the situation. And a personal conversation also very powerful. So if you have like personal conversation with children, and as a group in general, make it more generalized, and also think about their age group, explain the way it's appropriate for this age group, particular age group.
To
And
elaborate,
also,
yeah, I wanted just to share, to elaborate a little bit more. I am in the classroom setting, and sometimes
right.
when we see behavior with the repetition, and we demonstrated how the language and redirect the behavior. Sometimes these conversations do have to, because children, what's implemented at home, sometimes we do see it in the play in the classroom, right? So these conversations, it will go furthermore, talk about the importance of parent engagement, having a parent relationship, right? Having these conversations, what's appropriate, right? What's development appropriate with children, and what's being, maybe viewed or maybe put into practice, right? How it's not safe or not appropriate for the age group, right? So
right. Absolutely. Also, parent engagement. Thank you, Nancy, mentioning that parent engagement is actually a powerful tools to eliminate those type of situation and behavior. So now we're kind of wanted to give you, coming back to the question that we have, how dramatic is our classroom for dramatic play, or how dramatic is our dramatic play? As a preschool teacher and supervisor, I personally observed many times that most of the preschool classroom having the same kitchen whole year round. It's the same thing, right? It's the same materials and same costumes and same scenarios. It's a kitchen, basically, or maybe a little couch for a house. But if we wanted to give them rich, dramatic play experience, if we wanted to actually emphasizing on their whole child development, make sure that we actually give them more rich experience. How we can create a rich experience? We can actually create our dramatic play into different scenarios. As you can see in the picture, this actually one of our class. I teach Child Development 7 is a curriculum class. So we actually have a whole workshop on dramatic play and come up with different ideas. As you can see, we have Pizza Hut, we have pet shop, and also I think we have flower shop or something. So come up with different thematic box is so important. As you can see here, we actually add some of the idea that you can come up with a thematic box. And also, my dear participants, you don't have to actually spend money to do this. You can actually engage parents to help you to collect some of the items. I remember we used to find out like who is actually working in a doctor's office, the parents, or who maybe, parents maybe work in a dentist office, or maybe somebody's working in a nursery, or maybe somebody work in Home Depot, right? So you can utilize those parent resources, help you to come up with different theme and create different boxes. So some of the idea here, we can actually come up with supermarket, and you can save some of the items from the grocery store, cereal boxes or small containers, right? A laundry mart was one of the hits. Like this is, kids love it. You can use big boxes to create a washer and dryer. And also, even though one of my students, she actually created vending machine using huge boxes. It was so wonderful. Shoe store, pet shop, hospital, dentist office. For pet shop, they can bring their stuffed animals from home. You can actually come up with a different, design and organize it. Dentist office, a beauty salon, Pizza Hut, farmers market, train station, flower shop, ice cream shop, fire station, pumpkin patch. So these are some of the ideas. So if you think about it, if you have 12 theme box, or maybe let's say 6 theme box, every 2 months or every 1 month, you can change your dramatic play area and give them more, different experience for them. So they can take different roles. So it's actually part of the social studies. So they can learn about, different occupation and different responsibility of, different community workers. So those are good way to give them more enriched environment. One time I remember that children, I was a teacher assistant, so we created whole dramatic play as a hospital. So you have some beds ready, we have baby, and we have saline going on. So next day when kids came, their eyes was just wide open. Like, what happened to the baby? So they're like, oh my God. And we said, oh, this is a hospital. Some of the babies are sick, so you need to take care of this baby. So come up with this type of, enthusiastic idea. Kids will love it. And, use boxes to create a different vehicles. And, I remember I did a submarine. We have like going under the ocean, and we have farmers market. I was a preschool teacher as well. So grocery store, and also race car, driving or competition. So, you can do so much, but only thing that we need to do, become more intentional and also plan ahead of time. Okay, so I just share a few ideas and also what I do with my students. Now I'm going to ask Nancy Duran give a little bit more experience, from since she's engaging in with children in our CDC. So Nancy. Oh, so before we move on, we actually want you to watch this video. Remember, we're talking about thematic situations. So in this video, you can find a lot of YouTube video on different themes. I love to, show this video to my students as well. So let's watch this video, and then Nancy will be sharing her experience. I thought you would make
play just does so many things for children. When children are playing, they learn social skills, they learn language, they exercise their large muscles, they create and they imagine, they acquire abilities to kind of regulate their emotions. When children pretend, they tend to play out things that they already know about. And so one thing that's very helpful to children is to provide prior experiences, to actually give children some background knowledge that they can base their pretend play on.
We read a nonfiction book about baking. What they knew about baking, they kept on telling me, you cook, you cook, you cook. What are you making, Mia? Soup? In the bakery? No. I thought you were making cookies. We talked about cooking is sometimes done on top of the stove. Baking is usually done in the oven. That's the difference between the two. So by the end of the week, they realized a baker bakes items like breads and cookies, where a cook might make soup. Our dramatic play was a bakery this time. They needed a lot of guidance and focus, and we tried it with just pictures on the wall to help them understand these concepts of cooking and working together and whose job is what. The teacher really needed to be there during this week to support their self-regulation, because they were having a hard time taking turns, seeing someone else's perspective on something.
Remember, she shared with you, and now you're sharing with Mia. All right, now put those in the oven, and then share with you. Well, say, Tiffany, excuse me, please. Tiffany, excuse me, please. I have to put my cookies in the oven. I want the cookies on. See, she moved for you. Go ahead.
One important role that teachers can play when they're interacting with children in play is to help peers to interact with one another, to help them to kind of have conversations, to share their ideas, to collaborate on various play themes. Some children need support in that area.
If they're using this, when they're done with this particular cookie cutter, then they're going to give it to you, or we'll use a timer. Here, let's set it 3 minutes. All right, I'm going to set the timer. It says how many minutes? 1,
5.
It says 3. All right. After the first day of the teacher in there, we were hoping that teacher could kind of come out a little bit into the rest of the classroom, and they just weren't able to. Why don't you ask for
No,
No, why not?
You're using them, so why don't you say, can I please use them in your face?
And I know this was an area that they all wanted to be at, And I wanted it to be successful for them because there's so much they can learn. It really needed all week long a teacher to be there to facilitate that kind of thing.
Well, you can put on the bottom shelf. Look at yourself. You're cooking on the bottom shelf, Franny. Oh, you had a hot dog. All right, set your timer.
Next week it'll be out again. We're hoping that it won't need so much teacher direction.
Everyone, you found cookies. So far, you have to change the design. Cookies. Cookies. We'll come up there. Cookies. Get another one up. Let's go grab the cookies.
They were using a lot of symbolic imaginary play. They were asking for money. And they were pretending to go in their pocket and pull out the money. I mean, even though everything else was very realistic.
We just wanted to stop here since we don't have enough time to go over the whole. I just wanted to share that
Those were one
you
of
know,
the
teachers
parts.
can actually come up with different scenario, bakery shop or flower shop or pet shop, so they can have different experience. Okay, Nancy, would you like to share your experience?
Yes, and I'll go ahead and just elaborate a little bit more, just as you see, the engagement, you were able to capture a teacher facilitating a bakery shop engagement. But how dramatic is your dramatic play area, right? I work at the East LA College Child Development Center. Like I shared, I work with the toddler program, and this is my classroom. So how to create a fun and learning experience. So as you see this image here, who do you all think the play is?
A surgeon, like a hospital.
Yes,
Vet.
there's surgery going on there, definitely.
I would say a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Veterinarian.
Yes, it's a veterinarian. So there's the surgery going on. The pets are there. You see the cat in the back got surgery.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Then we have we have books on pets. So we converted the classroom, our dramatic play area, into a veterinarian hospital. So we had this conversation with children. We introduced the materials during our morning meeting. And this is, an example of materials that I put into practice in my classroom setting. So as you see here, this is the family center converted into a vet. As you see in the back, it's a kitchen. There's a kitchen. All I did was put red tape, right? That's, just being a little bit detailed of the materials that you have. Like we have covered, we do not have to go out and purchase, right? It's recreating what we have in our classroom setting. And here's a little bit more examples of the engagement in the Child Development Center and how the dramatic area looks. Here we have a child in the doctor's office. They're checking the knee. They have the phone. They have the coat, right? Again, we're there to facilitate and support. The children interact and engage one another. These are skills that they're learning. We covered the importance of it, right? A firefighter, right? Not limited. I see this is a girl. She's a firefighter. Encourage them the importance of having the diverse, right? We have, the daddies and the mommies, the firefighters, girls and boys overall for everybody. We had election day, again, something that's relevant that's going on, our engagement and our creation in our environment and dramatic play, what's going on in our daily lives. This was during election day. So children had their own elections within the classroom setting, and here's an example of it. And you see children interact, they come, they started voting, right, and making those decisions about themselves. And they feel that that confidence, self-identity, right, of who they are, and allowing them to engage in that type of play. What do you see here? We had a vet on the other one. What do we see here? What's going on? What do you think?
Doctor's office?
Doctor's office, yes. We have x-rays, and again, we have displayed throughout the classroom setting. In the back are their x-rays. As you see the hand, they did x-rays with their hands, they have the cotton balls, they have the phone, prescription, all the materials that are used in a doctor's office for children to come and engage in that place. Again, using the materials that we have, the bed, it's a table. We just put a white, cover on it, and it gives that enriched environment for a child to come, that curiosity, come and engage and engage in a doctor office play. The bakery, right? We have a bakery here. And I just love this picture, the child, we were exploring the bakery shop, right? What better thing is to put the materials into place, into practice, having the flour, allowing children to mix. Yes, it does get in our clothes, right? It gets in the classroom, but the experience, that rich experience that children encounter when they are engaging in this type of play, it's priceless. And that child was rolling with that roller back and forth, those gross motor skills, right? He was standing up, sitting down, couldn't reach. Everything of this experience, using their senses. Teacher, we're gonna add water to it, and we're gonna, make it into the dough, and use the roller to flatten it out. All that knowledge, that language, the terminology, the process that children are learning, all through the intentionality and the provocation, that creating a dramatic environment, enriched environment for children to engage in dramatic play. We have another voting day for a school mascot. So images that I'm showing are from the toddler program, and children were voting the school mascot. So we had two mascots, a big husky and a baby husky. So children have the opportunity to themselves be part of this voting. What do they choose? What do they choose, right? That the voting and their voice are being heard. So children, as you see, these are regular boxes. We open them up. Children were able to tape them themselves, cover it themselves, put the images themselves. Either they use scissors or they cut them and tore it in pieces. They were part of the process, part of the project, which was ongoing. So this was a voting. And here I am in action, right? This is the importance of the teacher facilitating and engaging in the play. Here is that children exploring with the UP exploring boxes. Again, though, having those connections with parents, knowing where they're working, knowing the materials that they have available. Children become amazed when they come in and share the materials that they have at home within the classroom setting. And here I am supporting children stacking those boxes. Those boxes were stacking one on top of the other. They'll fall, and then again, the repetition. And again, all the balancing, right? Having a great foundation in the bottom so the box don't fall. All the skills that children are learning. And we're there to best support them and facilitate in the play. And the doctor's office, and children, come and demonstrate what they see when they, visit a doctor's office, and allowing them, and they come, oh, Teacher Nancy, you're sick. Let me check you. And see those children and being comfortable in allowing and being part of the play. Of course, if you're being introduced to it. And here the children felt comfortable. They were able to engage, they were checking, and then they say, teacher, lie down, you need a Band-Aid. Again, it's open-ended and allows children to creativity, to come outside the box. And it's demonstrated here in these images. And again, pictures have a million words. And within this picture has so much going on that our children are learning. Any questions? Comments? I'm going to continue. And I know we have highlighted and covered the importance of partnering with families, like I shared. A question? As we have shared the importance of connecting and building those relationships with parents, we develop a relationship communication and respect. We allow children, to build these relationships. Children feel self-esteem, they gain self-esteem. They say, I feel, comfortable. You're engaging with my parent, and as well, allowing us as educators to know, right, the history of the family and what's going on in the family, and as well as, where they work, if they're working or they have resources An example, the UPS, when the child was bringing boxes, my dad was bringing boxes and they felt comfortable sharing, it was that beautiful connection and partnership that we built and the importance of it. It plays putting a bulletin board is important. Sometimes not all families will come and approach you in a way, but having numerous platforms of communication to build that partnership with families. One thing that we do is we have our lesson plan available. So if families become aware, an example that we were doing a veterinarian, they were able to share, I have a box where I'm going to create, a cage for the puppy, or I have some stuffed animals, or I have some materials that we could utilize in the classroom. We invite family members to share their interests, talents, and occupation. Sometimes, families work in numerous areas in the community, and we're able to, to bring what's within the community, within our classroom setting. We encourage families to create theme boxes. So we ask families, there's something there your child demonstrates interest, you could create this box that allows them, again, that allows them to, put their creativity and be a home project to work together as a family and bring that within the classroom setting. Have an open house and meetings. It's very important to see what's going on inside the classroom, right? What information, what are children learning when they're engaged in a dramatic play? What children are learning in your classroom? And within our open house and parent meetings and that dialogue that we have with parents is important for us to have ongoing through our school year.
Thank you, Nancy. I wanted to add a few things here. Sometimes we do have some parents who are actually they're so busy with work and working for families, so they don't really have time to come and volunteer, but they actually love to do something for schools. If we have take-home project, for example, maybe creating a vehicle using boxes, or maybe creating a house using boxes, or maybe bringing something from the work, they will willingly to do that. They will love to actually be part of that project. So this is the way we can actually engage them. And one of the things that they love, for example, if you have a thematic experience for, let's say, for a whole month, let's say doctor's office for a whole month, and then after the month, you can have a celebration, that theme. So we can have like an open house or maybe a little gathering. So parents can come and see how much they learn, how much, they learn through that whole month based on one of the project. It could be doctor's office, it could be pets, it could be family, it could be transportation. So this is the way we can actually let them engage and be part of this process. So, I know that many parents, and I used to actually, ask parents to do that, so many projects, and they love. I think Jennifer has a question. Yes, Jennifer.
Oh, yes, professors. I was wondering if you could expand on the theme boxes. I think that's really interesting.
Oh, okay, definitely. So basically, theme boxes means, let's say you want them children to have a grocery store. Okay, it's a grocery store, or maybe pizza parlor, or maybe nursery, or maybe a doctor's office, right? So you can have basically theme box means you can have a big box or big container and putting all those materials that you needed for grocery store. Okay, for example, one time I had a grocery store, so we actually create a big box and keep it in somewhere in the corner of the classroom or outdoor, and we ask parents to bring some of the boxes, cereal bowl boxes, or maybe small container, something is empty but clean. So we actually save those and we put them in that box. And also we come up with some apron for children, name tag, and also label for different items. Everything we put in that box. So that's basically theme box. So theme box means you create a box or container or maybe a bag based on one particular theme. So you compile all the materials that you needed. And then whenever you wanted to set up a grocery store or doctor's office, you use that box. So you have everything's ready in a box. So that basically theme box.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we are actually end of our presentation. Basically, now this is your time. If you wanted to share anything that you do in your classroom, I know some of you may be working with young children, and also I see we do have our honorable instructors here too. So if you would like to share anything, or if you have any question, and feel free to ask or feel free to share. Do you have any question?
I have a question.
Sure, sure.
I'm in the process of turning my classroom into a post office. So
Okay.
is there like a certain, just one certain area I should use, or should I do the whole classroom? Is that considered a dramatic play area, or what? I'm not sure. Because I want to build it up. I'm starting it. Like the kids are helping me make the mail truck, and today we cut out the frame for the big mailbox. I have a big cardboard box, and they were really, really excited. Tomorrow the boys are going to put the first coat on the paint on the mailbox, and then the next day the girls are going to put the second coat on. But tomorrow the girls are going to like finish the mail truck that we started last week. So they're going to be working together to build this. But I'm not sure if doing the whole classroom is too big of a project, or should I minimize it?
Well,
Nancy, wanted to answer?
yes. Well, let me share just give you an example of how I have the veterinarian theme in the classroom. So in our light table, we have, and we think about it, what materials am I going to use? In the light table, I have x-rays. So for the x-ray technicians, right? And I have x-rays, I printed x-rays of animals. And in our writing center, we have the prescription. So we have pencils, prescription, maybe letters for the animals, right? Having those connections. In the literacy area, books of animals, right? In the art area, we have children. We have they select the animal they would like to either sketch, either create patterns. In another area, we have a section where they create colors for their pets, right? So they're using their fine motor skills. They're creating their colors for their pets throughout. We have a section where we have sensory for the children to scratch, right? And we have these conversations. What animals scratch? A kitty cat scratch. So, everything that the children will say, we have, can you scratch like a cat? So in that space, we have a black paper that you're able to scratch with your hands. And it's the rainbow paper on the bottom says there's color. So the children are able to see the cause and effect when they're creating in that play. Now in the block center, we have a numerous of questions, right? Can you build a aquarium with the blocks? Can you build a cage with a block? So that's the way I have it throughout the classroom. So it's really what material, what topic, what theme you would like to use to expand it throughout the classroom setting. Materials, I feel as educators, we have it. It's kind of how to be presented with that intentionality behind the vet office, behind the post office, right? Maybe in the writing area, you have envelopes with postcards, creating books, right? Maybe in the block area, can you create a mailbox using the boxes? And all it is having that question available, and maybe a demonstration. Can you create this mailbox, right? The tower, right, of how a mailbox looks. These are examples that, how I will approach the theme throughout the classroom setting. Hopefully I was able to answer your question.
Thank you. Gave me some very, very good ideas. I had planned on having, the books in our little book nook area. with
Mhm.
the, you know,
Right.
on the post office and different things and that nature. I was just trying to visualize how to do it, and you gave me some very good ideas. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes. So basically, you can utilize the whole classroom in different areas based on that theme. And also another way you can give them experience outdoors. You can actually take your dramatic play scenario to outdoor. That also in a good way, so they can have experience indoor and outdoor both. I think Sarah raised her hand. Sarah?
It's funny because I was gonna say the same thing. Basically, I have one area in my classroom that is dramatic play, but I want to make it bigger. I want to extend it. So like, you know, the children have more area to play in. And so I was just, I guess, going to ask, like, how could you, you know, kind of open up that space and make it more of a bigger space if, you know, you don't have that big of a classroom?
And a great way to develop it throughout your classroom is having during your morning meetings or your group time.